I was making another video, but rotten politics sent me this disgraceful failure by the old Bill, Home Office and justice system in general, so I had to talk about that. We all know about Penley and Napier barracks being used by the Home Office to store imported Labour voters, doctors, engineers and rocket scientists. So far, they have caused countless trouble in the local areas, complained about the conditions despite where they have come from, and we even have security staff at the camps attacking local residents in the street, not to mention the shifty characters running the whole operation. This army camp situation came about because word got out that the Home Office under pretty piss poor Patel had paid billions of pounds to house new Labour voters they had just ferried over the channel in 4-star Hilton hotels, while British Army veterans sleep on the streets. Because in their deluded fantasy land, the Home Office thought it would be a good idea to stick them in disused army barracks located in small towns across the country. But not only that, when these Labour voters commit serious crimes, the police and court systems do not lock them up while they investigate. Instead, they send them to these camps where they can literally just walk straight out the front gate and never return. That is obviously beyond risky for a number of reasons, but especially dangerous for the women and children of the area, as I have covered in videos before, and today's report in the Mail reinforces. The headlines: rape suspect who attacked a woman in London hotel is bailed to live in a migrant camp where fellow asylum seeker is accused of harassment. The harassment case is him actually harassing a charity worker that was there to help him. From what I can tell through reading the article, he might have even been sending dick pics to her. A Channel migrant has been arrested on suspicion of raping a woman weeks after arriving in Britain aboard a small boat. The alleged sex attack took place at a hotel in London where the man was living at the taxpayer's expense. The suspect, who is said to be from Sudan, was arrested by police on November 8th and later released on bail. Can you fucking believe that shit? This guy is an asylum seeker, possible flight risk, yet they have given him bail for something as heinous as this. I actually can't believe the police in this situation. After his release, he was sent to live at the former Napier barracks near Folkestone in Kent, which has been converted to accommodate hundreds of asylum seekers. You mean illegal economic migrants, or Labour voters. In a separate incident, another migrant housed at the barracks has been arrested for alleged sexual harassment of a female charity worker. The 30-year-old was arrested this week over claims he sent explicit messages and images to the victim. They're telling me that he actually sent her some dick pictures more than likely. He has been allowed out on bail and is still living at the camp. Of course he is, because they're above the law. A source at a former army base said it begged belief that the two migrants were there on bail. The source added the Sudanese man has entered the country illegally and now been accused of an incredibly serious crime. He should be in custody until the matter is resolved. Instead, he's living in a quiet, comfortable base where people can come and go just by signing in and out. Showing, like I said, they can just walk in and out as they please, they don't have to worry. This guy has been arrested on rape and bailed for that, when, as I said already, he should have been put in prison, held on remand until they've sorted it out, much like the article has just said. The source said of the sexual abuse allegations, everyone is really shocked that he was apparently targeting a charity worker, but again he has been sent back rather than being held, which seems very risky. Well, then being there in general is very risky, but adding to that a bunch of sexual predators is never going to help. There is nothing to stop these two making a run for it and never being found. I expect that will happen within the next couple of weeks. The accusations will reignite concerns that migrants are able to enter the UK without border officials being able to make adequate checks on their criminal records. Yeah, and when they do check them, they find out that they're 14, even though they look like they're about 40. Many migrants are told by people traffickers to lie about their names, nationality, and ages to increase the chances of making a successful asylum claim. Which goes back to what I literally just said a few seconds ago about them saying they are like 14 years old when they are clearly 40 with a full-on beard and a pockmarked face, like they have been smoking fags and doing all kinds of shit for the last 25 or 30 years. Last week, MPs were told that some migrants have mutilated themselves to disguise their fingerprints, so they cannot be cross-referenced on a European Union biometric database that logs previous asylum claims in other countries. Meaning all the ones that we eventually kick out, which let's be honest is not very many thanks to lefty Labour-loving lawyers, they just end up coming back after chopping up their fingers a little bit and getting away with it, showing that the system we use is a complete and utter joke. And given Boris Johnson's future plans that I will cover in a separate video, this is only going to continue. A protest broke out at the base last week. We covered that. It was a bunch of nonsense. We should just kick them out for doing that. Never mind the fact that they're now running around raping people, it seems. It is understood migrants are given pay-as-you-go mobile phones loaded with free credit as well as supermarket vouchers. A source said it's more of a holiday camp than a detention base. The money being spent on the whole operation is absolutely mind-boggling. Yeah, well, apparently Serco have got like 10 billion to be dealing with this shit. Which makes me laugh even more when you get all the Labour lefty-loving tosspots running around screaming about how Serco have a £400 million contract for the piss-poor test and trace. Never mind them spending that on that, they are getting a hell of a lot more money to bring a bunch of people into the UK who might run around raping your wife or daughter. He goes on, but there are always fights. They've had to bring in dozens and dozens of security guards to keep the peace. A Home Office spokesman said, "We take the safety and well-being of everyone staying in Home Office accommodation and the local communities in which they live extremely seriously. We are fixing our broken asylum system to make it firm and fair." Are they actually having a fucking laugh? They don't take anyone's safety or well-being into consideration. Literally only the asylum seekers appear to be the only ones they care about. The local communities they are taking the piss out of because they never asked them, and they certainly didn't get consent to do any of this, and they never would. I have spoke to many people from the local communities and they have told me that they fucking hate what is going on and are constantly worried for their children's safety. And it's not like I can actually tell them that they shouldn't be, because I fully admit that they have to be worried for their safety. At the end of the day, we've seen too much of what has gone on around the country over the past 10, 20 or even 30 years. The guy who was arrested for thingy was done at 3:55 PM, so she'd obviously phoned up the old bill and said, "Look, this cunt's sending me dick pictures. You need to go round there and sort the sexual predator out." Police have gone round there, likely arrested him, and then just sent him straight back. So she'll probably now get death threats or something like that to her phone. We will have to wait and see on that if we ever actually find out. But I'm sure you will all agree this is an absolute fucking disgrace. I don't know how the police and court system can allow this cunt to be out on bail given the fact that he's apparently raped some woman in a London hotel. Where was all the media talking about this as and when it happened? It's amazing how we only find out about it because he's ended up at Napier barracks. And let's be honest, the only reason we know is because there is a whistleblower inside giving the papers information. So, well done to them. You are doing a public service, let me tell you. More so definitely than the old bill, courts and the Home Office, obviously.
There is a pattern consistent throughout history of oppressed people turning on the oppressors. Slaves against their owners, the peasantry against the feudal barons, colonies, Mr. Verhofstadt, against their empires. And that is why Britain is leaving. And it doesn't matter which language you use, we are going, and we are glad to be going. We're off.